Today's lesson is called Discover Lithuania. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
My name is Roger. We're traveling in the month of February, and today we're going to go to Europe, but I guess we're not going to France or Spain or Germany or some of those more popular countries. We're actually going to kind of a small and out-of-the-way place.
A small and out-of-the-way country called Lithuania. Lithuania is one of the Baltic states, okay? If you sail north around the European continent there, and let's say you go between the Netherlands and England, and then you go between Denmark and Sweden, you go through Scandinavia there and near Poland, you get to the Baltic Sea, and there are a few small countries connected to Russia there that border the Baltic Sea, and we call these the Baltic states. They are kind of small, they're kind of out of the way, but yes, we should definitely consider them if we're going to go to Europe, if we want to go see an out-of-the-way place, a place that no one else will go to. So if you want to have a one-of-a-kind experience when you go to Europe, don't go to France or Germany, go to a place like this, like Lithuania, like one of the Baltic states. Yes, Lithuania is one of those Baltic states. I believe that Latvia is also one of those Baltic states, and they're both wonderful, wonderful places. Anyways, folks, let's go ahead and take a short break, but when we come back, we'll start reading from our article called Discover Lithuania.
Discover Lithuania. Lithuania is one of Europe's most charming holiday spots, despite being unfamiliar to most vacation-goers. The obscurity of this Baltic nation is born partly of its stormy history, which includes being under Soviet control for half a century until 1991. Today, however, visitors can appreciate Lithuania through its art, architecture, and fine food.
大家好，第一部分我们看到名词 obscurity 指默默无闻、鲜为人知。例如 That singer used to be very famous but gradually faded into obscurity after the scandal. 那名歌手曾经红极一时，但在爆出绯闻后就渐渐销声匿迹。再来，我们看到片语 under somebody's control 亦可写作 under the control of somebody 表示受到点点点的控制，像是Our family's budget is under my mother's control. 我们家的生活费是由我母亲控制。或是 We heard that the city was under the control of the terrorists. 我们听说那座城市在恐怖分子的控制下。另外补充几个相关片语。第一 Beyond somebody's control 表示不在某人的控制范围，超出某人的控制。我们可以说 All of the decisions at work about marketing are beyond my control.公司所有的行销决策都不是我能掌控的。第二 keep something under control 表示控制点点点。例如 Since Vera couldn't keep her dog under control, her mother didn't allow her to bring it into their house. 由于 Vera 不能好好管她的狗，所以妈妈不准她把狗带进家里。第三 out of control 表示失去控制。举例来说 The crowd was out of control.And the police had to be called in. 群众失控了，必须找警察来。
Okay, let's introduce Lithuania to you as a travel destination. We're going to discover this place. We're going to go explore it and have a great time there. And we begin by saying Lithuania is one of Europe's most charming holiday spots, despite being unfamiliar to most vacation goers. A vacation goer, of course, is somebody who is traveling for fun, going on vacation, going on holiday. And yes, we've mentioned some of the more popular tourist destinations in Europe, but this is one that not a lot of people get to. So, of course, it's unfamiliar to most travelers. It's not really familiar to them. They don't really know much about it. They haven't really heard about it, and they don't want to spend too much money traveling there.
Huh? What? Lithuania? I think I've heard that word before, but yeah, I don't know much about that place. It's unfamiliar to me, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a great vacation there. Anyways, more on being obscure and obscurity. Yes, the obscurity of this Baltic nation is born partly of its stormy history, which includes being under Soviet control for half a century until 1991. There you go. This was under Soviet control. That means the Soviet Union, which was the name of Russia at that time, controlled that particular country, okay? Maybe the government of Lithuania really wasn't composed of people who cared about Lithuania. They were actually people who were beholden to the Russians or under the control of the Russians. One way or another here, we're saying that Lithuania was under Soviet control. Anyways, the adjective was obscure. I talked about that earlier. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the noun form of that adjective, obscurity.
Yeah, that's the state of being obscure. So obscure as an adjective just kind of means you're unknown, you're unimportant, not many people pay attention to you. I could say, for example, many years ago, Wang Jianming was all the rage, but now he has slid into obscurity. We don't really talk about him so much anymore. He's kind of a has-been. We don't really talk about him too much. I don't even know where he is. Is he coaching somewhere? I think maybe he is. But in any case here, we're talking about Lithuania as being a kind of obscure place. It's out of the way. Not a lot of people know about it. Although sometimes that's the best kind of destination you want because, oh, France, Germany, England, they're all so cliche. Everybody's been there. You want to go someplace that nobody else has been to before so you can brag about it.
There you go, so you can brag about it. Yes, I'm an influencer. I'm on Instagram. I have these unique life experiences. I don't go to common run-of-the-mill places like France or Germany or Italy. No. I have unique life experiences in places like the Baltic states and places like Lithuania. How cool. I'm so cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on here. The next sentence says, today, however, visitors can appreciate Lithuania through its art, architecture, and fine food. So there you go. If you like food, Lithuania has something for you. They have fine food there. And there's also art and then architecture. If you walk around the cities of Lithuania, chances are you are going to see some beautiful buildings. They have built some wonderful structures there in Lithuania.
Yeah, be careful with the word architecture there. It does refer to the practice and designing of buildings. It does not refer to the buildings themselves. So, for example, I would like to travel to Tokyo to check out the modern architecture there. That means the style of the buildings and not so much the buildings themselves. Architecture is also the study of designing and building buildings. Okay, so yes, indeed, you might enjoy the architecture there and, of course, the food, which we'll get to later on in the program. So right now, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson. Let's move on now and begin with the capital city, Vilnius.
A typical journey begins in the capital, Vilnius, whose old town contains buildings representing a range of historical periods. Visit St. Anne's Church, an architectural treasure built in the Gothic style using 33 different kinds of bricks. Afterwards, stop by the neoclassical Vilnius Cathedral, which holds the remains of St. Casimir, Vilnius's patron saint. In the square outside the church, you'll see a tile with Stebuklas, which means miracle, written on it. Back in 1989, 2 million people standing side by side joined hands to form a human chain that reached from this tile all the way to Tallinn, Estonia. The people formed this chain to protest Soviet rule.
第二部分我们看到一个名词 Gothic 指哥德式的哥德风格的像是 The city is known for its Gothic architecture 该城市以其哥德式的建筑闻名再来我们看到单字 Neoclassical 这个字是形容词指新古典主义的举例来说 The beautiful palace we saw in Europe was built in a neoclassical style 我们在欧洲看到的美丽城堡是新古典主义风格的建筑接着我们看到一个名词 remains 指遗骸遗迹遗址作此意时横用复数例如 On the side of the road were the remains of a deer that had been hit by a car 路旁有一只被车撞死的鹿的遗骸，或是 Many tourists visit the area each year to see the remains of the castle. 每年有许多观光客造访这个地区来看城堡的遗迹。最后我们看到一个单字 tile， 这个字是名词，意思是瓦片、瓷砖。举例来说 The walls were covered in beautiful tiles that had pictures of flowers on them. 这面墙贴满了美丽的瓷砖，瓷砖上有花的图案。另外，这个字也可以当动词，指在点点点上铺瓦或瓷砖。例如 My sister and I are planning to tile our bathroom. 我和姐姐打算在我们的浴室贴瓷砖。
Okay, everyone, we are in Lithuania. We are discovering Lithuania. Okay, let's go ahead and start our journey in the capital of Lithuania. Yes, a typical journey begins in the capital, Vilnius, whose old town contains buildings representing a range of historical periods. So there you go. We're already getting into architecture here. Go to Vilnius and go to the old town there, and you are going to see beautiful buildings that represent a range of historical periods. So you're going to see how architecture in Lithuania has developed over time. How cool is that? Anyways, that is Vilnius. It's the capital of Lithuania. Later on, we'll be talking about Tallinn, Estonia, and I believe, let's go ahead for good measure, let's throw in the capital of Latvia, okay, another Baltic state there. That would be the town of Riga, R-I-G-A.
There you go. So we're talking about Vilnius today. And, of course, first you're going to visit St. Anne's Church, an architectural treasure built in the Gothic style using 33 different kinds of bricks. So if you talk about the Gothic style, I could try to explain that, but basically in Chinese it's 歌德式 or 歌德风格 Gothic. Okay, so it's built in the Gothic style, and it has 33 different kinds of bricks. Okay, count them 1 to 33. You're going to find lots of different bricks. That is very interesting.
That is very interesting. 33 different kinds of bricks, I should say. How about that? Anyways, afterward, stop by the neoclassical Vilnius Cathedral, which holds the remains of St. Casimir, Vilnius's patron saint. Apparently, the city does have a patron saint, and you can go see this patron saint's remains. Now here, when we're talking about the remains of someone, we're talking about what's left of a person's body after they have died. That's the idea here. Now, this might sound spooky, but this is a saint, so people did want to preserve this person's body. They wanted to preserve this person's remains.
Right, so of course, this is a cathedral, and it's in the neoclassical style, which is 新古典主义. That's what neoclassical means here. And you've got the remains of that patron saint there. Lots of different cities have a patron saint, especially in the Catholic religion. You don't have them so much in Buddhism.
There you go. Anyways, it's a beautiful cathedral, and let's go ahead and read on and learn some more. In the square outside the church, you'll see a tile with stebuklas, which means miracle, written on it. So you'll go inside the church there, maybe you'll take in the remains there of that patron saint, and then we're not in the church anymore, I should say. We're in the square outside of the church. Let's be clear about that, okay? You're in a square outside the church, and then you see a tile with a word that means miracle written on it. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, a tile, of course, is a piece of ceramic, which you take clay and you put some glaze on it and you fire it in a kiln that's usually square or rectangular in shape. Of course, we've got lots of tiles here in Taiwan on the outside of buildings in a lot of cases, or in your bathroom, you're going to see a lot of tiles, ceramic tiles, and we've got a word written on it here, which means miracle. Well, back in 1989, 2 million people standing side by side joined hands to form a human chain that reached from this tile all the way to Tallinn, Estonia. So you might be familiar with what a human chain is. I think there was one formed here in Taiwan back in 2004. But this human chain, of course, refers to people joining hands, standing along a road or a series of roads from one place to another, and all at once their hands are joined, and this happened way back in 1989, and 2 million people took part in that human chain going from Lithuania to Tallinn, Estonia.
So they form this human chain. So it's not the tile itself that's super cool. It's what it means, okay? Back in 1989, something very cool happened here. People united. They were trying to say that they were unhappy with Soviet rule. Yes, the people formed this chain to protest Soviet rule. Yes, remember, they were under the influence of the Soviets, or they were under Soviet control. So here they were protesting Soviet rule. By the way, the word protest can be used as a verb or as a noun. Okay, if you go to a protest, that means you are going to a place where people are publicly saying that they don't like something. Okay, so that would be a protest. You can also protest. That means when you go out in public and you say that you're unhappy with something, you express your discontent with something, usually a government or a government official or something like that.
Yeah, here, note that the word protest as a noun and as a verb is pronounced the same in American English, although I believe in British English, they will stress the second syllable, protest. I'm going down to the presidential palace to protest the government's educational policy, for example. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third part.
For a look at Vilnius's more playful modern side, head to Literature Street, where literature-related works of art dot the walls of buildings. Next, visit Užupis, a self-declared independent state and the home of extraordinary street art. At Užupis, the artistic and fun-loving side of Lithuania truly shines forth.
Okay, before the break there, we were talking about some old stuff. Yeah, we started our journey in Lithuania in Vilnius's Old Town. Now, that's enough for old stuff for now. Let's go ahead and take a look at some new stuff. Yeah, for a look at Vilnius's more playful modern side, head to Literature Street, where literature-related works of art dot the walls of buildings. Now, before we move on, let's talk about the word literature. Okay, when we're talking about literature, we're talking about writing. We're talking about writing that is so good that you can consider it art. Now, some people write for newspapers, they write great articles, but very often that type of writing doesn't really ever get to the point where people consider it art. They wouldn't call that literature, but fine novels, let's say, great poetry, you can call that stuff literature. Like, you could say the works of William Shakespeare represent some of the greatest literature ever written.
Literature. Yes, this word is also commonly pronounced literature. Both pronunciations are acceptable. So this is kind of an interesting part of Vilnius here, a place called Literature Street, where literature-related works of art dot the walls of buildings. So here we've got the word dot. Usually a dot is like a spot on something, if it's a noun here. A fashion statement might be to wear a polka dot shirt, a shirt with the dots on it. But here dot is being used as a verb. That just means we have small, little literature-related works of art on the walls in various places. They're kind of small, and you can see them on the wall. I could say, for example, lots of quaint traditional villages dot the landscape of Yunlin County here in Taiwan. So here, of course, you can see kind of works of art that represent literature on the walls.
Yeah, they're scattered about. They're here and there. That's how you can find them. Anyways, moving on next, visit Užupis, a self-declared independent state and the home of extraordinary street art. So there you go. You're in Vilnius, in Lithuania, and now you can visit a self-declared independent state within the city and within the country. Now, is it an official state? I don't think so. I don't think that this state has its own government and that government hasn't been sanctioned by other governments. No. Apparently, it's a self-declared independent state. So they say they're independent, but nobody pays attention to them. But there's one thing great about Užupis. It's the extraordinary street art. By the way, if something is extraordinary, it's really great, okay? It's abnormal in a good way.
Right, so we're talking about street art here, which could be art on the streets themselves, but they could also be on walls in the form of graffiti or murals or whatever. Or maybe we even have street performers juggling or playing music and things like that. It's all very extraordinary. Now, at Užupis, the artistic and fun-loving side of Lithuania truly shines forth. So if something is artistic, that means it has to do with art. You might have a friend or maybe yourself or an artistic person. You like to draw, you like to paint. You have a vivid imagination.
There you have it. All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a break, but don't worry, don't fret. The Chinese teacher is on her way.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在今天的课文里面啊，有好几个句子是用关系子句来补充说明前方的先行词。那我们就来介绍这个用法。好，以关系代名词引导关系子句去修饰前方的先行词的时候呢，如果这个先行词它是明确特定的对象，那就不需要限定它的范围了。那这时候就是要用非限定用法，也就是在关系子句的前面加上逗号，或是在关系子句的前后加上逗号，把它跟主要子句隔开。那这时候关系子句的功能就是用来对它前面的先行词做补充说明。好，那关系代名词呢，可以是 which、who、whose， 可是我们不能用 that 来用在这个非限定用法里面。好，那我们用课文的句子来看。课文第一部分的第二句有写到说 The obscurity of this Baltic nation is born partly of its stormy history. 逗号which includes 什么什么。好，句子里面的 which 就是用来指前方的先行词 stormy history， 也就是说立陶宛这个国家动荡波折的历史。好，那这个先行词呢，它是明确特定的对象，所以呢我们要用非限定用法，那就看到 which 的前面有加一个逗号，所以呢这个 which 引导的关系子句呢，就是要补充说明它动荡波折的历史包含了什么什么 which includes 什么什么。好，那这边补充一下哦，关系代名词 which 除了可以代指前方的事物，也可以用来代指前方的整个句子或是整个子句，对那个前方的句子去做补充说明。好，我们来造个例句。Kyle is afraid of the dark, which is why he sleeps with the lights on. Kyle 怕黑，这就是他开灯睡觉的原因。好，那句子里面的 which 就是用来指前面的子句，也就是 Kyle 怕黑的这件事。Which is why he sleeps with the lights on 表示那件事就是他开灯睡觉的原因。好，再来我们看到 whose 是所有格关系代名词，它的后面要接名词来表达说先行词的什么什么。那我们看到课文第二部分的第一句，它写到说 A typical journey begins in the capital Vilnius, whose old town 怎么样怎么样。好，句子里面的先行词是首都维尔纽斯，那它是明确特定的对象，所以我们看到 whose 的前面有加一个逗号，那么 whose old town 怎么样怎么样，这个关系子句就是用来补充说明首都维尔纽斯的旧城区怎么样怎么样。好，另外再补充一下，我们看到课文第三部分的第一句，它写到什么什么 head to Literature Street逗号 where literature-related works of art dot the walls of buildings。 好，那么句子里面的 where 前面也有逗号，我们来看一下它的用法。 where 在这边是当关系副词，那么 where 当关系副词，它可以引导关系子句去修饰表示地方的先行词。像课文里面的句子，它的先行词是Literature Street， 它是一个明确特定的地点，所以同样是用非限定用法， where 的前面有加逗号，那么这时候 where 引导的关系子句就是用来替这个文学街 Literature Street 来做补充，说明说在这个地方跟文学相关的艺术作品散布在建筑的墙面上。好，那么以上就是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Architecture.The architecture in the city's historical district will make you feel like you have traveled back in time. Tile. We went to the store to buy new tiles for our bathroom floor. Protest. The students protested the university's new policy by refusing to go to class. Literature. Philip has a master's degree in English language and literature. Extraordinary. The Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City has an extraordinary collection consisting of over 2 million works of art. Artistic. Not everyone agrees when it comes to the artistic value of street art.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.